President Obama will be here tomorrow on Labor Day to give a major speech about the economy and about creating jobs. Then a few days after that, on Thursday, we're now told, even though there's been a little debate as to which day it's going to be, but whether he blinked or not, on Thursday he will address Congress with this issue. As one of the most important labor union leaders in this country, what advice would you give him? What is it he should have in that speech? What should he be saying to the American people and to other political leaders?
I think he's got to lay out a jobs program that really challenges the government, including the Republicans. They have to support infrastructure. How can they talk about America being competitive in the 21st century and not support his highway bills, his infrastructure bills? We could put millions of people back to work if we made the proper investment on our roads, our bridges, our power grid system.
But you know what they're going to say? They're going to say that's just more big spending from the government, that it's going to create higher taxes, and then in the long run it's going to wear our economy down, and it's going to make the private sector buckle down and say, hey, we aren't going to participate in this.
They've been saying that for 20 years. And through Bush, they had all kinds of policies that took care of the top and didn't take care of the middle class, and our country's going downward. Look at the countries that are doing best in the world, whether it's Germany, whether it's developing nations like Brazil. Workers, the general populace has got to have disposable income. Right today, private industry is sitting on trillions of dollars not investing it. The government has to play a proactive role when the economy is in a deep recession or a depression, whatever you want to say we're in. The government has to play a proactive role. We will not get rid of the debt unless we build tax revenues. You're not going to build tax revenues unless you get people back to work.
Bob King, you know what they're going to say to you. The Chamber of Commerce around this country, they're going to say, government doesn't create jobs, private sector creates jobs, and you aren't doing anything to create an environment and economy in which we can do what we do best, meaning the private sector. Agree or disagree?
That's a false framework. I totally disagree. Look at our country. We're the lowest, one of the lowest tax countries in the world right now. At the OECD report that just came out, we had the lowest corporate income tax in the world. And what kind of jobs is it creating? If that theory was true, there'd be millions of jobs being created. We've been giving the money for 20 years to the wealthy and to corporations. Trickle down doesn't work. We got to get people back to work.
This president has been afraid to use the tax word and say, I'm going to raise taxes. Well, is it time for him to not be afraid of that and stand up and say, yeah, we need to raise taxes,
yeah, you know
and that's about leadership?
We need to raise taxes on the wealthy and on corporations. They're not paying their fair share. If corporations in America were just paying the average of what the OECD countries, the developed nations, the 34 in the world were paying, we'd have $200 billion, almost $250 billion more in revenue coming in. If corporations were paying the same tax rate that they paid in the 1950s, we'd have $500+ billion a year more coming in. We spend less on social services in this country than any of the other developed nations. It is a crime that we're cutting back on K through 12 education. How can you build a strong America and be competitive in the 21st century if you don't take care of your kids and your grandkids, if you don't give them a good base so that we can compete? You know, we can't cut ourselves to death and be a strong nation. We got to make a choice. You want no government, you're going to have no strong United States of America. You're not going to be the beacon of democracy. You've got to have government programs, economic policies that create a strong middle class, that support a strong middle class, not just take care of the wealthiest in society.